In a world ruled by 9 powerful races, dragon youths, elves, onist dwarves, demons, dark elves, centaurs, beast folk, and humans, a young man named Light sets out on a journey that will change his fate forever. Born in a humble village, Light dreams of giving his family a better life. So, one day, he leaves everything behind and heads out into the unknown, chasing power and purpose. When he arrives at a massive city, he's overwhelmed by the chaos, pushed around by crowds, but he doesn't stop. He searches for the Adventurers Guild, believing this is where his story truly begins. Inside, a receptionist greets him kindly and asks if he's there to register as a new adventurer. Light nods, and she explains that everyone starts on the lowest rank, F. Curious, she asks if he has a unique ability. Light answers confidently, saying his skill is called Unlimited Gacha. It lets him draw random cards and summon whatever comes out. The receptionist blinks, confused. To show her, Light uses his ability and summons a broken fork. The silence is painful. Light tries again, only to get a handful of rotten snacks. The receptionist just stares, pitying him. His face turns red with embarrassment as he mumbles that it's not always this bad. But deep down, even he's losing hope. After registering and receiving his adventurer's card, Light asks for quests. The receptionist directs him to the job board, but when he stands there awkwardly, she realizes he can't read. Feeling sorry for him, she reads the quest aloud. Light, still determined, picks simple tasks and sets off to work. By evening, after hours of exhausting labor, he finally earns enough money to rent a small room. But as he walks down an alley, a gang of beast folk surround him. Their leader, a towering wolf man, sneers and grabs his pouch of coins. Light pleads for mercy, but the wolf man slams his fist into Light's face, sending him crashing to the ground. Laughter fills the air as they walk away, leaving him beaten and broke. No one helps. No one even looks at him, until a graceful elf appears and extends her hand. Her name is Sasha. She helps him up and introduces him to her party, the Concord of Tribes, a group made up of one member from each of the 9 races. There's Geru the Beast Man, Drago the Dragonuta, Diablo the Demon, Nano the Onist, Sign the Dark Elf, Albero the Dwarf, and Santa the Centaur. They explain that they're missing a human member and invite Light to join them. For the first time in a long while, Light feels wanted. He accepts with a grateful smile, unaware of the cruel truth behind their kindness. Together, they explore a deadly cave known as the Abyss. When a massive worm monster lunges at him, Geru slices it apart in one strike. Another attacks from behind, and Sasha kills it with her bow. She scolds Light, warning him that recklessness means death in the Abyss. As she tends to his wounds, the others tease her for being so soft toward him. She blushes, pretending it's nothing. Light feels warm inside. For a moment, he believes he's finally found a family. That illusion shatters not long after. While resting at a dead end, Light starts preparing tea for the group. Drago suddenly turns to him and says, "Don't bother. We don't need tea. Or you." Light freezes, confused. "What do you mean?" Drago's tone turns cold. "You're out. We're done with you." He laughs nervously, thinking it's a joke. But then Geru speaks, his voice dripping with contempt. "We only kept you around because of your gacha ability. Turns out it's worthless." Light's heart sinks. "After everything we went through?" Sasha crosses her arms, her expression full of disgust. "You really thought we needed you?" Drago steps forward. "You were just bait. Trash that we picked up for convenience." Before Light can react, Geru slashes his cheek open. Blood runs down his face. Light tries to run, but Sasha's arrow pierces his leg. He collapses, screaming. The group circles around him. Geru kicks him hard in the stomach, laughing as Light coughs up blood. Sasha stops him, saying they need to make it look like an accident. Geru grins and raises his claw for the final blow. Light crawls desperately, refusing to die. His hand presses against a glowing symbol on the ground, a teleportation trap. In an instant, Light bursts around him, and he vanishes before their eyes. When he wakes up, he's deeper in the abyss than ever before. It's freezing, silent, His wounds burn. He looks around and realizes the truth. He's been abandoned in the one place no one escapes from. He cries, not just from pain, but from heartbreak. Their laughter echoes in his head. Then something inside him snaps. His sorrow turns into rage. "I'll make them pay," he whispers. "I'll destroy them all." Suddenly, he feels something behind him, a monstrous presence. A giant, level 1 Orthus beast emerges from the shadows, eyes glowing red. Light panics. He knows he can't win. Desperate, he starts spamming his Gacha ability again and again, praying for anything to save him. Then, a blinding magic circle fills the cavern. The air trembles. A surge of power erupts, and out of it steps a beautiful fairy surrounded by light. In one graceful move, she slices the Orthus into pieces. The monster collapses, lifeless. Light stares in disbelief. The fairy kneels before him. "My name is May, the ever-seeking maid. Level 99,999. I am your servant." Light can barely speak. He mutters that his Gacha only gives him trash. She smiles softly and says, "Not anymore." She heals his wounds with a touch, apologizing for doing it without permission. Then she examines him using her appraisal skill, and her eyes glow with shock. She explains that his ability was never weak. It only looked useless because there was no mana on the surface. Here in the abyss, surrounded by endless magic, his power has awakened to its true potential. Light listens, stunned. He tells her everything. The betrayal, the beating, the humiliation. His voice breaks as he recalls every cruel moment. May listens silently, then wraps her arms around him. "I'll make them pay," she says coldly. "I'll drag every one of them before you." But Light shakes his head. "No, I don't want revenge through someone else's strength. I'll do it myself. I'll get stronger. I'll make them regret ever crossing me." May smiles faintly. "Then I'll stand beside you. Always." With that, Light stands tall once more. The abyss around him hums with power. He activates his Gacha again, and enormous magic circles light up the dark. Each roll brings forth new weapons, new tools, and unimaginable strength. Light, once a weak boy mocked by all, now begins building his empire in the heart of the abyss, reborn unstoppable, and ready to rise above everyone who betrayed him. After 3 years of hard work, Light has built a lavish kingdom with all his new fairies as he walks through his castle halls, all made submissively, greet him, hoping to get some special attention. Annoyed by their creepy stares, May asks Light if she should silence the noisy fairies. Light doesn't mind it since he thinks they're just showing their love for him. After leaving the castle, Light walks through town where all the shopkeepers greet him with friendly words. As the shopkeepers ask Light to replenish their supplies, May makes a mental note to solve their problems later. Then Light asks her what his other fairies are doing. So May informs him that a fairy called Ayuki is exploring the abyss. Satisfied, Light thinks that Ayuki should be fine in the abyss as a genius tamer. Then he asks about the researcher fairy called Ellie and learns that she's developing magic spells to increase his power. Light feels guilty since he's making Ellie work really hard for him and asks May what their fighter called Nazuna is doing. May feels upset that Nazuna is just patrolling the castle's interior even though her fighting abilities are very high. However, Light thinks she's perfect for the job, walking around with her cheerful personality. Afterward, Light returns to the castle where his final 9999 level hero named Jack greets him with his first name. This angers May, who reminds Jack to be respectful to their master. Light tells her he doesn't mind what Jack calls him and leaves the train with him in the dungeon. After warning him that he won't hold back, Light prepares to charge at Jack, who is ready to take him on. He rushes with ultra speed and punches Jack's stomach, which knocks him a few meters back, knowing that only his body is strong enough to withstand Light's attack. Jack feels surprised by his power He also attacks Light, and the two of them begin a fierce battle. Meanwhile, Nzuna continues, walking in the safe castle halls, acting like she's protecting the maids from dangerous criminals. As Nzuna tells the maid she's doing a very important mission for Light, they praise her like a spoiled child. As Nzuna gets a big head from all their praise, the maids ask her where she's going next. She tells them she hasn't decided yet, so they ask her to patrol a secret place for them, wondering what kind of place it is. Nuna agrees to help them. Soon, she knocks on the door to Light's bedroom where Mei comes out. She asks Nzuna if she needs something. So, Nzuna tells her that she's patrolling the area. Mei tells her that she doesn't need her security in the bedroom, but Nzuna gets curious about what she's doing. She asks Mei why she's in Light's bedroom when he's out fighting Jack, and Mei acts like she's just cleaning the room. However, Nzuna ignores Mei's yapping and walks straight into the room. Noticing the messy bed, she thinks that Mei rolls around in it and sniffs. Light smell like a pervert. To protect her dignity, Mei tells Nzuna that it's just a secret cleaning technique, and the airheaded knight easily believes her fake story. As Mei feels relieved that Nzuna isn't the sharpest crayon in the box, she starts fumbling around her armor to find a message from the maids. After finding the letter, she reads it out, informing Mei that all the other maids are angry at her for hogging Light's roam. As Nzuna reads a final part of the message, she wonders why all the maids are cursing Mei, the innocent. Nzuna thinks that they're cursing her to help her develop an immunity, and Mei tells her she'll deal with the maids herself. Then she gives Nzuna some money for delivering the message, and she happily accepts and leaves. Afterward, Nzuna goes to the market and grabs a bunch of tasty sweets to eat. While eating, she finds Ayuki sitting on a balcony. After learning that Ayuki is done with her exploration, Nzuna warns her that she won't share her food, since Ayuki keeps meowing in response. Nzuna feels confused. She wonders what the cat girl is saying and tries to guess that she got into some trouble in the forest. As Nzuna offers to help her clear the obstacles, Ayuki gets annoyed and reveals that she has already finished making a map of the whole area. This surprises Nzuna, who starts cheerfully hitting the girl and scolds her for not explaining earlier. Then she heads back to start goofing around again, leaving Ayui exhausted. Nzuna heads into the palace's throne room and makes sure that nobody is watching. She climbs onto Light's empty throne, feeling sad that he's not around to see her. However, her careless movements break off a piece of the throne, and Nzuna quietly puts it back before teleporting out of the room. Back in the dungeon, Light and Jack match blows a final time. Jack tells him they should call it off and get some rest, and Light agrees once they're in the hot bath. Jack praises Light for mastering his power. Light credits Jack's teaching, but Jack, confident that few can match him in the palace, warns Light not to get overconfident. There might still be someone on the surface strong enough to challenge him. Light nods in agreement, promising that he'll never underestimate his opponents while getting his revenge. Meanwhile, in Mei's office, all the fairy maids stand nervously while awaiting her orders. Mei asks her if they know why they're in trouble, and the maids try to act innocent. As Mei reads the contents of their letter out loud, they get terrified of her and back down into the walls. She asks the maids what they meant by their letter, and they say that they were just trying to reduce her burden. However, Mei points out that they cursed her 3 times at the end, which leaves them speechless. She also scolds the maid for using Mizuna as their scapegoat, and they all start whispering among themselves. Then, May heads back to her chair and announces that she's rejecting their appeal before ordering them to clean the long hallway leading to the throne room. The maids accept their punishment, but when May tells them they'll have to do everything with their bare hands, they feel completely stunned. The maids protest against the punishment, but May says that since she's heading back to the surface, they need to cover up in her absence in town. Nazuna greedily stares at some cool armor. Ellie approaches her, feeling surprised that the castle guard is wandering around. She asks if Nazuna wants some candy, but the knight points to the armor. She asks Ellie about her research, and Ellie explains that she's heading back since her work is finished. Ellie thinks that Nazuna is an idiot since she couldn't figure this out on her own, but Nuna disagrees to prove her wrong. Nuna says that 1 times 3 is 4. Ellie mocks her being dumber than a starfish, so Nazuna counters that only dumb people insult other people's intelligence. However, Ellie starts bragging about having tea with Light, thinking that he'll invite her to his bedroom next. This makes Nazuna jealous, who also wants to have some tea with her master. Back in the maid's room, they get angry at May's punishment. One of them wonders how to get rid of their annoying leader and suggests they should poison her. After her partner reminds her that May is immune to poison, they all fall silent, wondering what to do. Frustrated that she can't clean Light's room, the lead maid starts complaining once again. Her friends agree, wanting to sniff his scent like May. Their creepy friend fantasizes about licking Light's used spoon, and they all call her a freak. However, she calls them out for having the same desires, and the hypocrites shamelessly agree that they do the same. Then the maids think about May being the first fairy that Light summoned, remembering that it took him 3 more months to summon Aoyuki. They wonder if May did some freaky stuff while she was alone with Light. At this realization, all the maids start crying that they didn't get the chance to fulfill their desires with their master and decide to curse May for all eternity. However, as they begin their joint cursing session, May enters the room, silencing them all. The maids ask her why she isn't outside doing her mission, and May explains that she was just on her way out when she heard them praying for her. She walks into the room, asking why they were cursing her, feeling terrified of her power. All of them start swearing their undying loyalty to her one by one. However, May repeats their curses, which silences them again. Finally, one of the maids confesses that they were just jealous of all the extra time she got to spend with Light. May tells them that in the 3 months she spent with Light alone, she only educated him and trained him for combat. After explaining that she never did anything freaky with him, May says that she returned since she felt that her punishment was too harsh. However, after hearing the maid's ungrateful curses, she thinks that she made the right decision. May doubles down and increases their punishment to include the throne room as well. The maids pitifully beg her to have mercy as May reminds them that they have a free time to curse her in their room. The maids finally accept their fate. After receiving their punishment, the maids quickly head out to clean the throne room. Still complaining they didn't do anything wrong, they wonder if they can even finish cleaning before the next day. Suddenly, the creepy maid touches the part that Nazuna broke, and it cracks and falls down in front of their horrified eyes. Meanwhile, Nazuka lies down on her bed to have a good night's sleep, unaware that she is just doomed. All the maids of purgatory, feeling sad that she didn't get to see Light. She wonders why he doesn't just send her to the surface to clean up the guys who hurt him. After venting her emotions, Nazuna closes her eyes to sleep. The next day, as Light walks out to enter The dungeon. He hears Ellie arguing with Mizuna when he opens the entrance. Mizuna rushes to greet him, thinking that her wish from bedtime was granted. Ellie thinks there's no way Light would care about her while Ayuki approaches him like a cat. As he starts scratching her chin, the other girls feel jealous that she's getting so much special attention. Ellie invites Light to her bedroom, but he ignores her and tells the girls he's got some business in the dungeon. Suddenly, a hellhound beast approaches the group, making Light tremble in stress. As he recalls the first time seeing this beast, Light feels traumatized while all the maids get dead serious. Mizuna warns the beast that she'll turn it into a bunch of sausages for hurting her master, while Ellie thinks they need to make its species extinct. Even Ayuki agrees to eliminating every single hellhound from the world, and the beast starts whimpering like a dog in front of their pressure. Light tells the girls to back off since he's fine and approaches the hellhound, knowing the girls really would have erased its bloodline. He pets the dog while Ellie asks him what he came for. At her words, Light remembers that May has given him news that their first prey is ready. All the girls get excited, ready to help their master. Light steps out, preparing to start his revenge with the first of the 8 ruthless concords who betrayed him. Villagers shamelessly flatter him to stay in his good books. While arrogantly striding through the town, Geru notices a poor human scavenging through trash, and he kicks him down just for fun. Then he heads to a tavern with his lackeys, who praise him for rising through the ranks as an orphan and boosting their wolf tribe status. Geru believes he became strong because of his natural beastman perception, but his lackeys point out that his perception is the strongest among them. Agreeing, Geru admits he can always sense which missions have the best rewards, allowing him to make quick money. Curious, one of the lackeys asks him how much he earned from hunting Light 3 years ago, but he replies that it was a Federation secret mission, and he can't talk about it. Thinking back, Geru remembers slaying Light as the easiest job ever. Even though Light ran away, he believed there was no chance he survived the dangerous abyss afterward. But as he recalls that all nations are searching for a maestro, he wonders why they're so important. Suddenly, his tail shivers with a sense of danger, and he decides not to think too deeply about big secrets. As his lackeys continue drinking, May interrupts them. When she tries speaking to Geru, the lackeys scold her for addressing their master without permission. Geru silences them and asks what she wants. May introduces herself as Light's first maid. Hearing Light's name, Geru is shocked. She explains that Light belonged to a noble family, and that they've been searching for him. Geru refuses to believe that someone as harmless as Light could be from nobility, but May's insistence makes him curious. While Geru gets excited thinking about money, May sheds tears, fearing her master might have perished in the abyss. She opens a briefcase full of pure gold, asking Geru to show her the last place Light was seen. Still sensing a trap, Geru accepts anyway. Believing a human like her can't threaten him, pretending to care, he acts like Light was a brother and claims he would have helped even without the money. May thanks him with tears of relief. A month later, they reach the abyss. By the time they arrive at the dungeon, May is exhausted from traveling. Geru watches her and feels a twisted hunger, planning to use her weakened state to his advantage near Light's grave. When they reach the spot where Light was betrayed, Geru lies, saying a monster killed his friend. May collapses in despair, and Geru apologizes dramatically, signaling his minions to block the exit. Just as Geru prepares to have his way, May's voice suddenly turns cold. She says it's a pity her master was betrayed by such scum. A chill runs down Geru's spine. His lackeys are confused, but Geru realizes this woman knows too much. Information only the Concord and their higher-ups should know. Nervous, Geru asks who she really is. May scoffs and says she serves only Light, and now she will make Geru pay for his crimes. Her fierce glare paralyzes him with fear. For the first time, he realizes human women are not as weak as he believed. Just when Geru thinks he's dead, a hooded figure appears and stops her. Light himself steps forward, declaring he'll take revenge personally. Geru's minions mock Light for being a pathetic level 15, but as Light removes his hood, Geru freezes in horror. Geru laughs at the idea of being threatened by someone so weak compared to his own level 150 power. Light calmly asks if Geru shouldn't first wonder how he survived the abyss. Geru ignores a warning and believes that even with Mei's help, they stand no chance against his level 130 minions. Before he finishes boasting, his minions charge at Light. In an instant, a rain of limbs fills the air. Mei effortlessly slices all of them apart. She declares that anyone who threatens her master will become dog food. She blocks the cave exit, preventing Geru from escaping. Panicking, his remaining minions cling to Geru's words as he insists Mei caught them off guard with a sneak attack. Light mocks Geru for being delusional, still arrogant. Geru claims he'll show Light the true power of beastmen. Light grows silent, remembering all the discrimination humans face. Geru claims superiority is natural, but Light reminds him that Mei just dismembered his men. Geru argues she must be using a magic item and charges at Light. Light gently taps the ground with his staff, sending all of them flying. Geru struggles to stand as Light mocks his weakness. Hurt in pride, Geru jumps back and summons his ultimate weapon, a level 500 Fenrir, using a magic crystal. Light remains unimpressed. Thinking Light has gone mad, Geru orders the monster to attack. The Fenrir fires a massive magic beam. When the smoke clears, Light stands unharmed. Geru's jaw drops. Light mocks the Fenrir for merely kicking up dust. Terrified, Geru watches Light summon a level 9000 Fenrir Emperor using an ultra-rare card. With a soft breath, the Emperor freezes Geru's monster instantly, shattering into pieces. Whimpering, Geru asks if that was Light's trump card. Light replies that he could have easily defeated the beast himself, then reveals his true level, 999. Geru trembles as his minions whisper that humans can only reach level 100. Convinced Light is an imposter pretending to be human, he insists humans should have aged in 3 years. Light reveals his bracelet of youth, which stops aging so he can remember his suffering. Finally accepting the truth, Geru drops to his knees, begging for his life. He blames his minions, who yell at him in betrayal. Light asks about the maestros, and Geru explains the Federation ordered them to search for them, but never told why. Light demands to know why they tried to dispose of him after confirming he wasn't a maestro. Geru insists he doesn't know. His minions try to lie, but Mei cuts them into pieces instantly. Light asks Geru one last question. Could he defeat all 9 races alone? Geru tries to lie, but Mei's eye of truth forces him to admit he couldn't. The races have stockpiled weapons for centuries. Light agrees that even a level 999 cannot defeat the world alone. Then he tells Geru he has more questions and teleports them to his base. Geru opens his eyes in a massive hall surrounded by powerful beings, beasts, maids, and soldiers, all showing respect to Light. Light ascends his throne and orders his servants to reveal their stats. Every aura in the room is overwhelming. Even the weakest guard is level 1,500, while his leading maids are level 9,999. Light tells Geru that these soldiers were prepared over the last 3 years and asks if they're enough to conquer the surface. The terror on Geru's face gives him the answer. Light smiles, saying this despair is his punishment. Geru realizes Light could destroy the world at any moment. Crying, he thinks Light is the strongest being alive, almost godlike. When Geru asks if he wants to become a god, Light grips his staff and says it might be a good idea. The people who hurt him are hiding secrets, so he will become godlike if that's what it takes to get answers. Summoning his Gacha gift, Light declares he will judge whether the world deserves punishment. With his army ready, he orders his forces to march out of the abyss, beginning their war against the 9 races.